Here I go again. First of all, Ryan Clark, to augment the point that I made earlier about Big Ben Roethlisberger, even after I said thank God, 2 segments later, I was defending his resume against Eli Manning. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Now
I did see that segment.
Now here we are about Dan Quinn. Ladies and gentlemen, I respect Dan Quinn. He did a hell of a job as the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Can somebody tell me what the big deal is here? Dan Quinn's career record as the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons was 43 and 42. Dan Quinn took them to the Super Bowl in year 2 with an 11-5 record. Year 3, they were 10-6. Got bounced out in a wild card game or divisional playoff game, one or the other. They didn't make the conference championship game. And then the next 2 seasons, he didn't have a winning record. He was 7-9 both years. And then the year he got fired, he was 0-5. What am I missing? What am I missing? I mean, it's just little old me, Ryan Clark. Okay, I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude that's been covering sports for 30 years. Okay. I mean, what do I know?
I know what you're missing.
What do I know?
But I'll let RC respond.
All I'm trying to say is, my God, y'all, my God, Dan Quinn is a good coach who did a hell of a job coaching the defense of the Dallas Cowboys because he was a welcomed reprieve from Mike Nolan, who should have never had the defensive coordinator job the year before Dan Quinn arrived. But in the end, when people talk like, oh, my God, Jerry has taken this position, and you see Jerry bloviating about him and all of this other stuff, it's like, really? Really, that's what we do?
Stephen A., this defense had the most points allowed in the NFL, and then the following year, they had most takeaways and some other stats this is just from the dome, so I don't remember. RC, don't you think it's the fact that he should be a head coach, and that's why Jerry's, sticking his chest out, because he was able to retain him as a DC?
You know what? I don't know if he should be a head coach. I think he deserved the opportunity to interview for jobs.
Yes.
We have seen in the league that most times they will retread a coach if they can't get the hot coaching name, or if they can't find their piece. They'll get a coach who's been a head coach before in the league and has had some success, which Dan Quinn did. Dan Quinn took the Atlanta Falcons to a Super Bowl. They were a quarter away from beating the New England Patriots. And then you do go and you see the turnaround he makes with the Dallas Cowboys. And what happens is organizations and executives go, oh, hell, I forgot Dan Quinn could coach, right? Because Dan Quinn had to do something as a defensive coordinator before getting the Atlanta Falcons job that made him a candidate then. So I think sometimes people are reminded. Now, from what I've heard and from what I know, the Denver job was an attractive job to Dan Quinn. They ended up giving that job to Nathaniel Hackett. And so I'm thinking maybe he couldn't find his fit. I'm not necessarily sure if he was offered, but when I hear Jerry say, I believe he was offered, I kind of call BS on that, right? Yes. You either know he was offered or you don't. I call BS on, I believe he was offered. I feel like, kind of like Molly said, he's drumming this up to make this a little more dramatic than it needed to be. Yes. Yes, he interviewed, but he didn't get the job, or he didn't take a job. So, of course, he's going to come back and be the Dallas Cowboy defensive coordinator. You also don't know if he's going to be your defensive coordinator for years to come. And so I think that this is a little bit of Jerry pumping the Dallas Cowboys up a bit, but it's keeping the coaching staff in place to set it up to give it to Sean Payton the next year.
See, and that's where I wonder. Because if you're keeping the same coaching staff in place, why would Sean Payton want to come there when Sean Payton is just coming as a coach with no say? Because you ain't going to have power in management, because that's Jerry and them, and you ain't even picking your own staff. I don't know about that.
I know. I think Sean will get to pick his own staff, but what I'm saying is, imagine firing Mike McCarthy now and getting a new head coach. You wouldn't necessarily think that Jerry Jones would just fire that coach to get Sean Payton a year out. Yeah, but now you've given Mike McCarthy 3 years.
But he said Dan Quinn's around for a long time.
Well, he also said in this radio appearance that Mike McCarthy's status was never in doubt. And on Sean Payton, let me get this quote. When he was asked about him, is there pressure on Cowboys coaches knowing Payton is out there? He said, not at all. I think a lot of Sean, but there's going to be somebody other than Sean winning the Super Bowl this year. There's no one person indispensable as far as winning the Super Bowl.
Dallas Cowboys did not win a playoff game, just like I said they wouldn't, all year long. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.